point is the number of things you can do, from surveillance to identifying your political preferences, withholding taxes, account freezes, account seizures, time limitations on your money. Your money's like a countdown clock. It expires after a certain period of time, et cetera. I could go on and on, but you take the point, which is it's not your money anymore. I've always said to people, you put your money in the bank, it's not your money, it's the bank's money, and they'll give it to you if they feel like it. Well, this is that same idea on stilts. And this is like, yeah, and now the government's involved, and everything easier, faster, cheaper about payments is also easier, faster, cheaper about surveillance, confiscation, account freezes, et cetera. And then people say to me, they explain that what I just said to you guys, and they say, oh, that'll never happen. It's already happening. I mean, it's already here. Talk to the Freedom Convoy in Canada, what my neo-fascist friend, Trudeau and Freeland, who's the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, did to the Freedom Convoy. Now, okay, they pulled into Ottawa in the middle of winter, and I was just in Ottawa a couple of days ago, by the way. It's a pretty city, but pretty small, actually. They stalled traffic. They blew the horns at 3 a.m. All Trudeau had to do was come out, say, who are your leaders, meet with them, hear their demands, give them a few, not all. They would all go home, and that would be the end of it. He didn't do that. He went into hiding. He's sort of a coward. He's not very smart. But Trudeau Freeland is a tough cookie, to put it in polite terms. She called the banks in Canada. Now, the difference between Canada and the U.S., they only have 5 big banks. We've got like 5,000 or something. But there's, CIBC, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Montreal, Nova Scotia, and TD. She called the banks, identified the bank accounts of the truckers, and froze all their accounts. She didn't stop there. She then called the crypto exchanges because, I know what cold wallets are, but a lot of people put their money in crypto exchanges, got their names, froze their crypto accounts, seized their trucks. They couldn't feed their family. They were put in jail, held without bail, literally couldn't feed their family in the middle of winter, all because of a non-violent protest. And when I emphasize there was no violence, annoying. Yeah. So give them a traffic citation for blowing your horn at 3 a.m, $500 fine, appear in court, whatever. I'm not saying there shouldn't have been any accountability, but being held in jail without bail, where all of your money's been frozen, your assets have been seized, they're non-returnable, and you can't feed your family for what, a non-violent protest? But my point is, and that's an exercise in fascism, of course, but my point is that they did it all through digital banking systems and cryptocurrency systems. So, and they're doing it in China. They have what's called a social credit score. So if you, bad acts are, start with smoking, you're smoking, but you take a train to go to a protest, okay? And there are many runs on the bank. There's a group in China informing, don't pay your mortgages because, in China it's a little different because here the builder builds a house, and you guys build a house, a buyer comes along, buys the house, gets a mortgage, pays the mortgage, but they get the house. In China, you take out your mortgage before the house is built, and then you owe the money, but the down payment and the mortgage money is used by the builder to build the house, and you move in like a year or two later, but you're already on the hook for the mortgage, except that the developer stole the money and didn't finish the houses. But the banks are saying you got to pay the mortgage, and people are saying no. So people are traveling around China to join these protests, but in China you have a social credit score. So they identify you through the banking system and then turn off your ability to buy a train ticket or a plane ticket. Wow. So if you post a Winnie the Pooh meme or something, good luck getting your kids into school. Good luck getting health care for yourself, et cetera. So my point is, this is already being done. And then people say it'll never happen here. Why not? Show me something that was really poorly done abroad that isn't being done here sooner than later, particularly with the Biden administration. So I'll leave it at that. But the point is, this is more than just a digital currency. This is more than just convenience and cost savings, which it is. That's how they sell it. This gives them total surveillance, total control. It's the ultimate realization of the total surveillance state. And just look at what they did to Russia. We don't have to debate the war in Ukraine, but they froze the treasury notes held by the Central Bank of Russia. Well, what's the difference between that and default? Like, why do you buy a treasury note? Well, you buy them because you think the treasury is going to give you your money back, and with interest. But when they freeze them, they're like, well, no, actually, we're not giving you your money back. So what's the difference between that and default? I would say there is no difference. So we've kind of already defaulted on treasury notes. Yes, selectively with a political wrapper around it. I get it. But given what's going on in China, Europe, and the U.S. sanctions on Russia, which are tantamount to a default, tell me they're not going to use this digital dollar for political enforcement. And the answer is they will. But compare that to Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, where it was very technological and to the point of, children were formed in vats, you didn't actually give birth, et cetera. And they did genetic engineering to change your IQ because they needed some dumb people to do menial tasks. What's the difference between that and an mRNA vaccine? I would say no difference. Yeah. Well, no, they are. Yeah. It's genetic. These are, by the way, these are not vaccines. One of the criticisms I got for my book, the New Great Depression, which came out in early 2021. I wrote most of that in 2020. The interesting thing about that book, and again, I wrote it in 2020. It took a while to get published because the supply chain was messed up. My new book's on the supply chain. But I said, masks don't work, lockdowns don't work, social distancing does not work, and there is no vaccine. And so today, here we are in 2022, and what do you hear? Well, masks actually don't work. Even Fauci admits that. Vaccines, 5 million people in December 2021, 5 million people double vaxxed and boosted, so 3 shots, some of them on their way to 4, got COVID.
Yep.
So tell me it stops COVID. Tell me it stops the spread. It doesn't. Of course it doesn't.
Well, now the narrative is it's Trump's fault. The vaccine is now Trump's fault.
Now that it's failed so badly,
we got
to blame Trump. But the point, my point is, it's nice in 2022 for people to say, yeah, you actually got that right. But we actually knew in 2020, this is because it was censored and suppressed for 2 years, and you were deplatformed and criticized and called a conspiracy nut and tinfoil hat and all that jazz. It took 2 years for the truth to come out. Now the truth is coming out, but we actually knew it at the time. When I said lockdowns don't work, my source for that, because I always source everything, I had like 200 footnotes in the book.
Right. So
was a paper written in 2006.
I hate to